PR Connections Radio presents.
Welcome to Watching Mental Health, your place for all things mental health. On this show, we break down the stories, the research, and the stigmas. And we discuss treatment and recovery with providers, professionals, loved ones, and those with lived experience. It's time to talk openly about mental health, mental wellness, and mental illness. Join the movement and join us live every first and third Wednesday at 3 p.m. Pacific time. Hi, everyone, and welcome to another episode of Watching Mental Health. I am very excited because today we're going to dive into a conversation that we haven't had yet here on our channel. And we're going to talk a little bit more about personal experiences with mental health, with grief, with, just managing life, which I think is super, super important. And I'm really excited to bring on this guest because she has really experienced a lot of hardships in life, and yet she shows up every single time I see her with a smile. And I just think that she's beautiful from the inside out. And so my guest today is Magdalena Brandon. She's always had a passion for color and design. And that's why she is a Feng Shui Specialist, and she's very good at her job. She understands the importance of balance and harmony, not only in one's environment, but also in the mind, the body, and the soul. She is creative and passionate and an ethical business professional who's always fun and loves supporting others in achieving their objectives, be it creating a beautiful home or creating a beautiful life internally or externally. I have personally worked with her. I have also networked with her women's networking group, which is just filled with wonderful women that she's managed to bring together for, I think, over a decade now. She has experienced an immense amount of grief and trauma in her life, however, but her ability to choose to live life and to focus on making her world better is truly an inspiration. I have seen her face very difficult tribulations, and she continues to shine. And so I'm really excited to bring on Magdalena Brandon without any further ado. Magdalena, welcome to the show.
Thank you so much for having me here, Katie. And it's so nice to see you. And congratulations on bringing this topic out to everyone.
Well, thank you. Yeah, it's such an important topic, and it can be so stigmatized. And so I'm really excited to get into it with you today. But before we do that, just first tell us a little bit about who you are and a little bit about your background in Feng Shui. It's a little bit of a creative endeavor. It's not something that everybody does or can do, I believe. And so I want you to, tell us a little bit about who you are.
Well, I was born and raised in East LA. Just chose to move out here 30 years ago, almost 31, because my last husband was an electrician, and there was no work in California at that time in the 90s. So we moved out here. I actually opened up my own furniture and accessory store because I'm also in design. And then a very good friend, she worked with me and certified me in Feng Shui in 2004. Okay. And it goes hand in hand with design because placement of furniture, artwork, accessories, plants, etc., have a lot to do with the balance in your home. So I was really happy to bring the two entities together because there's not a lot of people that do both. I had a son, and he's unfortunately, well, I guess fortunate for him, unfortunate for me. He's on the other side right now, 13 years ago. And he was my only child. But that doesn't stop me because I adopt animals like crazy. In fact, I'm not a crazy cat lady, but I'm close because I have 4. So I love animals. I love dogs. I love people as long as I'm able to communicate with them because I'm very straightforward and direct, sometimes to a fault. So I have to watch, I have to breathe sometimes so I'm not so curt. I've been doing this, the design for 40 years, and I've been doing the Feng Shui now for 20. Oh my God. I mean, time just flies. It really does. But I have a home in Southwest Las Vegas. I love my space. My house is my sanctuary because I tune everybody out when I walk in. I make sure it's saged. I make sure it's protected. I make sure like if things aren't working smoothly for me, I look at those spaces and the areas. I'm like, oh God, that's why. And the minute I change things up, all of a sudden things happen. So that's a little bit about me. I love jazz is my biggest. I love going to jazz concerts and seeing and listening to live music. I love all kinds of sports. I'm a football fanatic. I really just enjoy different venues out there. I mean, I'm very, very, I feel, I like a little bit of everything. You know, I'm not one side or both sides. And I finally got to enjoy the nights. I hadn't been to one of their games, and our women's group got to go because it was Women's Month or something like that in March. So that was a great experience to see that. Not that I probably would be a big hockey fan, and who knows. So,
that's wonderful.
Yeah,
well,
so that's
I really like. Yeah, I love that you went to the Knights game, and I'm a big Knights fan. But yeah, I have also started coming around to sports and become a much bigger sports fan in the last few years. I think as Vegas has grown with sports, I've grown with sports. But before we get into any mental health stuff, I wanted to touch back on this idea of feng shui with interior design is being not something that is very common to combine the two, that we don't see that very often. And I just find that so peculiar because to me, and maybe it's because I know you, and so I've learned this stuff through you, but to me, it feels like it really should go hand in hand. And I see how you do that. It's not just about moving furniture. It is about the whole environment. It is about achieving that balance and harmony in your environment. And that's so essential for mental health. And I think you need both in order to really accomplish that. And so I just find that really interesting that not a whole lot of people are combining those two the way that you are.
No, because when I first came to town, there was a lot of designers feng shui individuals that would contact me because they knew my ability, and color's like my thing. That's my biggest area, I feel. I mean, you know, I have many, but color is, I love combining 3 to 4 to 10 colors together, not making it into a play zone, but making it very sophisticated as well. Because you can do things very, you know, it doesn't have to be so bold. It could be, you know, a little bit softer, but as long as the colors blend. So that's why they brought me on, because they didn't understand how to use color, and they really didn't know how to place the furniture in the power positions, because in your career area, that's extremely important. Right. Also, in your relationship area, you know, that's extremely important, and colors to use, not to use. So when I work with somebody in the design aspect, let's say, they don't know anything about feng shui, nor would they be being open to that, because sometimes people look at you cross-eyed. So I don't let them know, but I do it in that fashion. Right. I cannot do something that doesn't belong there in my world. You know, I'm not going to put, you know, I'm not going to go into a master bedroom that's this individual wants a relationship and, you know, a single person, whether it's male or female or whomever, and not have everything in pairs. You know, well, let's just do this lab like this, and let's do another cool lab like this. Like, we, you know, and I guide them as much as I can, and especially letting them know if this is what you want, if this is, if you want more money, if you want to change your career, you want to get better health, you know, it all. This is what it was so important for me to combine the two, and now I have an opportunity because I'm off for 3 months to further my education in that, which I'm excited about, and that's probably one of the reasons why I'm at the standstill, which I'm totally fine with. So it really goes hand in hand. And even when I walk into a space that's been professionally done, if it's off with something, I feel it, and I just I mean, I don't say a word because it's not my job, my place to do it. And a lot of people, honestly, Katie, don't like me coming to their house because they think I'm going to tear it apart. But if I'm just, I'm not going to say anything because you're not paying me. You pay me, I'll say something. You know, so. But if I get to speak to this individual and then something's not working in their world, If they come to me and just confide as a friend, and I'll just say, well, if you're interested in a consult, because that's what I did notice, and I would be happy to do a consultation with you. So that way I can show you, and in black and white, and I just I let them know, if you want this to work, you have to work with me and manifest it, and not go into it and go, oh yeah, whatever.
Right.
She's just full of, she's all woo woo. She's all this. She's like, she doesn't know what she's talking about. I've had success stories after success stories after success stories with people that do what I asked them to do, and tell them to do. And then the results happen and they're like, oh my gosh. And I said, that's what happens. And I've had people come to me and go, well, this isn't working, that isn't working. I said, let me ask you a couple of questions. And then we go on the list, because you didn't do this, 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 and this. I mean, so.
I love it.
Yeah, so it does. It creates such a nice energy between the two different amazing, they're different, they're similar, but they're different, entities, design and in Feng Shui, but it all relates to each other. Color, proportion, lighting. I mean, it does this. So anyway.
Yeah, absolutely. And you're somebody who, I always have really looked up to, because I feel like in many ways you walk your talk. You're not just telling people to go and live their life and to maybe, change this or change that. If you want to change, or if you need movement somewhere, you're working through it yourself. You're doing things. You're out there doing physical things. I've seen you do Pilates for years. You're doing mental things. You're constantly trying to evolve and find your sense of balance and harmony. Am I right in saying that?
Absolutely, because I feel you're always a student.
Yes.
You're always learning. And if you turn off for ego, whatever, I think you lose out, because the more I learn, the more I grow, and the more excited I become to whatever I'm looking at, whether it's, seeing a counselor, whether it's, okay, why does it feel so heavy in this house? And I'll share that story later, because I just fixed my house. And I'm like, what is going on? And then if you open up the channels, because I'm very much into intuitiveness, I have a spiritual guider. I mean, I'm a little over here, but I'm a little over here. So, I'm like, and
I love that. Yeah.
And then it's almost like my inspiration is just, you're too young for this, but Felix the cat.
Okay.
He had a bag of tricks. Hello. When I used to sit in front of that TV at 5 years old, watching him and just pretend like I had a bag that I can make this look pretty and this look pretty. And, I even cut my, back in the day, my parents had plastic on their furniture. Okay. And I'm sure some of your viewers, they might remember that. They might not. Like, what is this woman talking about? And here I was at 5 years old with my scissors cutting it off, because this was unacceptable. You cannot be sitting on a piece of furniture and slide off. You have to, you want to feel fabric underneath you. So I got in a little bit of trouble, and that's how I started back when I was 5 years old. So 63 years ago, because I'm 68.
That's amazing. So you knew from the get-go, if something is off, I need to fix it.
Yeah, so, I wouldn't do that to anybody's house right now.
Right,
but, I mean, but it was, and when they're like, "Oh, you're so right," I'm like thinking, "Yeah, thank you." I mean,
yeah, I know. Like I've seen. So, so now your life has been really interesting, and so I think it's been really great that you've managed to keep a lot of these really important self-care and just these tools, right, these tricks in your bag, because it's almost like you really needed them, because you've had a lot happen to you. So tell us a little bit more, whatever it is you're comfortable with, about your mental health journey, about your family, about maybe something that you've experienced.
Well, I come from, I always say I'm an only child from a family of 6.
Okay.
And the reason I say that, it's a little unfortunate. And unfortunately, my family, they don't like me. They all still live in LA. The only one that does is my younger brother, and he and I have somewhat of a relationship. Not a big one, but at least I can talk to him. The others I don't speak to because they don't want to talk to me. Okay. So for whatever reason, I did not get into that area as far as, having mental breakdowns, because my mother was clinically depressed. We almost had to institutionalize her. And so she really wasn't a mom to me. My older sister was my mom because there's big age gap. My dad was a paranoid schizophrenic. So he did something that, shocked us. And luckily he didn't go to jail for very long, but, because he was unstable. I have brothers the same, paranoid schizophrenia, agoraphobia, on and on and on. And so I saw this being number 6. So I was blessed to be towards the end. And I thought, I don't want to be like that. What is going on with this person? And, I want to get more into adventure and playing. And I was a big, I played sports. I played volleyball. In fact, volleyball was my game, and I actually got written up in a local newspaper, because I made 13 straight points with my serve.
Okay.
And it was, nobody could return it. I don't know how I did it, but apparently I did it. So, so I got into baseball or softball, all of that kind of stuff. I tried out for drill team, didn't quite make it because I couldn't kick my butt. If you didn't kick your butt, you wouldn't make it, even though I was fit enough, but I guess my legs were they were tight or whatever the case, or my butt wasn't big enough. I don't know. So I was always attempting to do activities. Right. So I wasn't just sitting at home and brooding, or just, being, just not having any sense of self, or, just, like zombies, I guess. So with that, unfortunately, there was a lot of trauma in my life. So I don't remember from 5 to 9, which I'm okay with. I do remember what happened, and I know I was, molested as a child. It happens. I have worked for 25 years plus now to find the forgiveness, to find that love again and respect for my parents, even though they weren't really my parents, or were not parental units, I can say. And they showed me what I didn't want. So I was very grateful that I got to see what I didn't want. So in having my child, fast forward to that, I started really saying, well, I need it. I want to go here. I want to do this. I want to talk to somebody. I started searching. So the amount of energy I've put into my own mind, because there have been times, and one of the things that happened after I had my child, and I had him young, we were 19 and a half years apart. And I didn't want any kids, honestly, because I was taking care of all my older brothers and sisters' children. And I'm like, oh my God, I already took care of 6 kids. And no more, I don't want your kids. No, thank you. Well, again, the universe decided, even though, I was taking all these precautions, that no, you need to have this baby. Right. And they were amazed that I could even get pregnant. When they told me I couldn't get pregnant, I was doing a happy dance out the doctor's office. He thought there was something wrong with me, but I didn't want, no. So
you're
anyway,
like, sweet, I don't have to worry about it.
I don't have to worry about it. I can save all kinds of money, no birth control.
And then it happened, and here you are.
And then it happened. It's like, oh, okay. So, but what was beautiful about that, Katie, is it gave me the ability to heal from my mother. And I became the mother to my son that I never had. Yeah.
To your little child, to your little girl.
My inner child was developing a child. Yeah. And we were best friends. I took him out, every weekend we went to go play. We were riding bikes. We were traveling together. We hung out. And then his dad left when he was only 3, which actually he needed to leave because he was very abusive. That was the other thing. I come from a very abusive Mike Tyson kind of family that they box. It's, it's just disgusting. So he attempted that once, didn't do it again because I knocked him out with a frying pan, and then called my brother to come take him away, which they did. And so I raised my son. So I was both mother and father to my son. But there were times that we were just both children and having a good time. Yeah. He was the best. He was the best. He graduated high school, graduated college. I couldn't ask for more. Yeah. And then stupid entered into his life. again, that's what was supposed to be. So he got
Yeah.
involved in things, drugs and stuff that he shouldn't have, and unfortunately contracted HIV. Um, I saw him, and I knew he wasn't going to live, even though I did as much as I could to save him
Right.
financially, mentally, spiritually. I had healers coming. I don't even know how I got through a year and a half because I don't remember. It was just so traumatic watching your child die.
Yeah. Slowly
So
dying. Yeah. It's hard.
yeah, and I never cried in front of him. I'm like,
Mm-hmm.
nope, not doing it, because he knew once he left, I had no one. He
Mm-hmm.
knew. And he's like, who's going to take care of you? And we had that discussion when I had to take him to hospice, and and again, I didn't hold anything back, because sometimes I feel when you harbor what's really going on and you don't share exactly what's happening with health wise, whatever, you need to let somebody see the whole picture. So with Richard, I was just like, excuse me, because I had to make the decision what I was going to do, hospice
Mm-hmm.
or see how long we can keep him alive.
Yeah.
So I stood there and I said, what really pisses me off, and this is exactly what I said, is that I took care of your little booty growing up and make sure you were okay and everything, so you could take care of me and wipe my little booty when I get old. Now what am I supposed to do? Word for word. And I'm standing there with my sassy little hand on my hip. And then I went, I'm just kidding. I said, I love you. You're getting weaker. You'll take care of me better on the other side.
Yeah.
So we're just going to do that. And I hope you're okay with that, son, because I don't know what more I can possibly do, or the doctors. I don't want you having a trach here and this. No.
Mm-hmm.
So we did. The beautiful part was he lasted 3 days in hospice. We kept turning down the machine because he was fighting. He didn't want to go.
Mm-hmm.
I kissed his face with my red lipstick, so he had my lips on him, because I knew it was close. Richard was born on a full moon at 1:10 in the morning. He passed on a full moon at 1:45 in the morning. That's 35 minutes. He was 35.
Wow. Oh my
You
God.
can't tell me this wasn't supposed to be. So that's part of how I was able to grasp it. But then I also delved into HIV. And I worked for a nonprofit. I supported AFAN. I was out there educating people, doing speeches, and, just really out there. But what deterred me was the organizations I was working for wasn't about the people. It was about how much money they were making. That doesn't work for me.
No.
That doesn't work for me. This is all about them, and this is what you're doing. So I do have a foundation I've set up, and when I have time, by the time I stop working at 80, maybe, I will start that to see, and really bring more awareness to it, because it's just it's still an unfortunate disease that's out there, big time.
Yeah.
But it helped me heal, so
Exactly.
it was okay. And then I just started getting back into reality, and getting back into living, because there were times, and I'm going to be very frank, that I said, why am I here? I don't have a family. There's blood. I don't have a family. My son's gone. What the hell am I doing here? It's time for me to go. Let me just go. Well, that stood in my head for maybe 5 seconds, because I push things in and push them out, especially when it goes to that negative. And I said, no, you need to, I heard this, because I'm sure it was my son talking to me, because he does talk to me. Put your big girl panties on. You got to live, and you have a purpose, and you have to teach. You have to make people aware. Stop feeling sorry for yourself and get your butt out of bed now. And I just kind of went, what the hell was that? And I'm like, okay,
Right.
because that's how I've always lived my life. I might you get a little whatever, because we have to allow that to also happen.
Yeah.
There's also a time to turn it off and get back up, dust yourself off, and keep moving forward. So it's been 13 years, and I know that I still carry his loss in me. How can I not?
Right.
this month is not really the best month for me, only because it's his birthday.
Mm-hmm.
If he lived, he would have been 49. Mother's Day. John and I's first ever meeting face to face, May 19th. So May is kind of like ugh. And I think I'm doing very well, actually. I had a beautiful Mother's Day. I have something special planned for his birthday, and I'm gonna have a big party for him next year. So he would have been 50. So I'm having a big party.
Yeah.
I mean, seriously,
Let's party for him.
Exactly. It's going to be, I'm planning it now because then I will be 70 in November. So, because like I said, 19 and a half years apart. So, so I was able to be young enough to run around with him and do all that stuff. So, that's what happened then.
That's so big. And it's just amazing to watch you, continue to, put one foot in front of the other and, to get up, like you said, to allow yourself to feel, and then to know when it's time to get up and start moving, because you just can't wallow in it forever. But it's always going to be with you. So for our listeners out there, for anyone who may be experiencing grief, or anyone who really knows someone who's experiencing grief and maybe doesn't know how to communicate with them or how to talk with them about it, or if they should or shouldn't, what would your advice be to someone who's maybe not sure what to say to someone who's grieving?
Well, first of all, they have to make sure that whomever they are allowing into that space, because it's very delicate and you have to feel safe. So whomever they feel safe with, who they really know that, they would fight for you, because, that they're your friend. This is a true friend, not, an acquaintance. It could be a sibling, it could be a best friend, it could be, it could be me, but you have to trust them. And I don't say anything initially about why they're depressed, who's passed, who's this, who's that, and they could be going through some health issues themselves and getting ready to cross over. I just start asking them about who they are, and we kind of break the ice. They talk about me because I can talk a whole lot, and then they start feeling comfortable, because I really do my best to make you feel comfortable. And because there's nothing like talking to somebody with the shell in front of them, and they, like, oh, I understand. No, you don't. You've never been through this. I had a gay son. My son was gay. I raised him, right? Mother and father. When he was 3 years old, I started telling him, you're getting your high school diploma, and you're going to college, period. So he did. I mean, I groomed him from the very beginning. So I mean, I have that aspect, because I don't want to hear I'm an only parent, I can't do this bullshit. Oh, sorry. No, that's not. That is possible. You can. So you want to, somebody, if you can go through it, but you have to be very organized. You have to be very disciplined. You have to stick by your word. There's so much. So I attempt to let them talk, and then we slowly go into it, because it has to come up and come out. The first thing is they have to release all of that. I call this liquid love. Right now, because of my retina surgery 3 weeks ago, to keep me closed, to keep me taking care of me better, and I catch up with everything I must. I'm afraid to cry, because I don't know if it's going to affect my eyeballs. So I see the doctor on Saturday, and I'm going to say, because his birthday is coming up, and I'm going to do my best if he said, no, please don't cry. But I don't know if that's the case or not. But I want to make sure, because if he says, no, you really can't cry, you really can't put anything in your eye.
Okay.
And if he tells me I can, then who knows how long it's going to be till I stop. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, but you have to want to.
Yeah.
They have to want to talk to somebody. They have to want to live again, because especially, and I've seen mothers and fathers that have other children, and they forget they have other children because they're so focused on the one that's passed. I have a niece that we don't really speak, because she's got, whatever that is, and I love her, and if she's watching, God bless you. She lost a daughter, and I let my brother know, because I can't talk to her because I have no way to communicate with her if she wants to talk to me, because she knew my son. She loved my son. My son loved her and her sister. So have I heard from them? No. And will I? No. But you have to, because my brother tells me something that's going on, and they're kind of focusing on the child that's gone. They have 5 others. You have to give the attention to whether it's your husband, your wife, you know what I mean? So, but it's got to come from within. And we've got, if they don't have that, let's try to find it. Let's attempt to get it out. And I'm not capable or qualified by all means. And I can refer you, because I've worked with a lot of people. I can refer you to who I think would be your best fit, because I know a lot of people. That's why my Instagram page is Ask Magdalena. People call me for whatever. I will refer. I have people that I know personally and that have done work for me, or others are blah, 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 but mainly for me, because I'm very picky. So I guess that's something. I mean, that's the very first step, but they have to be able to cry and be okay with it. Doesn't matter what time of day it is. It doesn't matter who you're in front of. It doesn't matter. Just let it out.
Yeah, you do. It's so important to let it out. And in a healthy way. So with that, let's end the episode on, tell us a little bit more about what are some of your self-care techniques. And you mentioned before that you had something happening in your house and you made a change, and then that was helpful. So walk through these items, and we'll wrap up the episode.
I'll attempt to make it quick, because I talk a lot. Anyway, so I've uncovered the fact that my weight challenge was because of my past trauma of being molested. We uncovered it, my therapist and myself, and and just the books that I read and all of that. So this was back in, I guess, Richard passed in 2011, and I really didn't focus on myself as much as I do now. So it was 2012 is when I finally said, okay, I know what happened. It's past. You can't see it, and I'm kind of grateful I can't see it. But that's what I had to wait. So I started on my journey. So I worked, I trained, I got a personal trainer, because that's important. And then figuring out what I like to do. So, I've done Pilates for 7 years. Before I went in for my hip surgery last year, I was attempting to get to 900. I only made 878 or something like that classes. That's impressive. I impressed myself, and I continue still to do it. But anyway, so I started, I went to the professional, is what I'm saying, got their input, did what they told me to do, went to go see a naturopath because something was going on with me. And as it happened, they had me on this prescription medication that could have killed me, and it didn't. And my hormones were all kittywampus. Totally whacked. And even when I walked into the naturopath after I took the blood work, what the fuck? I'm sorry, probably should have said that. You could bleep it out. But seriously, and I'm just looking at it like, oh, what? And she goes, I'm surprised you haven't had a stroke. You don't have cancer. You don't have. And I just said, well, I'm not supposed to. So how do we fix it? That's exactly it. So I'm on bioidentical hormones. I still am. I started in 2012. I still am. From that, working out, eating correctly, working out. I started at 224. I'm down to 158.
That's beautiful.
And I've kept that. I fluctuate between, after John passed, I went up 10 pounds, but, I attempt to stay there, and I'm working out currently. I just hired a trainer because at 68 years old, I have to make sure that I'm healthy. It's not about how I want to look. It's all about, can I walk up the stairs without pulling myself up? Can I get up of my chair instead of having somebody help me? Can I lay down and get up and not get up? Do I need one of those little things on my neck? I mean, that's why I'm doing it, and the money, it should never stop you. If you really want it, you can manifest it. And I have lived my life, my entire life. I've been the only one that pays my own paycheck for 40 years. So, been raising a child that was spoiled rotten. So, it's all about what you want and what you want to manifest. So that got me to this point, which at still at my age, I'm still working out. And I go walking with my friends until it gets too hot early in the morning, for a 2.5 to 3 mile walk. So I like the movement, and I'm be training for a while to build my muscle, and I can't lay on my back just yet because the retina. So I'm not doing Pilates or gyrotonic, which is another modality that's incredible. So I've learned all of these things because I've attracted all of these things because I wanted all of this for me.
Yeah.
I come from a family that they died at 74 and 79. I'm 68. That's not far away.
Right.
So I know I'm going to live longer, but it's because they have diabetes. They were, overweight. They had heart. They had this. They had. It was a nightmare. And I'm like, my dad's, both of his legs got amputated.
Wow.
So like, what is that? And how do I stay away from that?
How do I
And
not do that? Yeah.
No, the only thing I have is hypertension, which that's why I hired a trainer, and that's why I'm doing what I'm doing to, help that as well. And I'm taking other supplements to help that as well. But it could be a multitude of things. And again, I'm not going to just say, oh, okay, give me another pill. No, I can probably say I only have one brown bottle at my age. That's impressive. I'm not going to get rid of the bottle because I don't want it.
Right.
I'd rather have, 20 different supplements that I'm taking instead. So that's how I did it. And it's a constant, again, that's what I wanted. I saw how I was brought up in crazy. And I didn't want that. I wanted a peaceful, harmonious, abundant, loving life.
Yeah. And you created it.
And I created it.
And that's beautiful.
Yeah, actually, that felt good saying that. I'm going to pat my little ass on the back. Yeah, right back here. Yeah,
you did it.
I'm sorry. I got to watch it because me, things just come out.
No, you're perfect. I love it. So tell us, what did you change in your house? And we'll end the episode on that.
Okay.
Yeah.
So because, I have a friend that we used to be a couple, and then we stopped being a couple, and then I hated him, and then I thought, no, he helped me through the worst time of my life. We have to be friends. So we have now a friendship, which is nice. I know he still loves me. I know he still wants to get back together, and he's insane because that'll never happen. Magdalena does not go backwards. Magdalena only goes forward. So, but he asked me, do you need some help? And I said, oh yeah, I do. So he was here. His energy is so toxic. And because I had to lay on my face for a week and a half and had to put drops in my eyes twice a day, I couldn't do it because I couldn't see. So I couldn't cook. So he stepped in, and I had him doing all kinds of chores, and we get along okay, but his energy is what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
So when he left, I'm just like, because after the doctor says, okay, well, you can sleep on your side now. Perfect. On my right side. So I can only sleep on my right side for now, and we'll see what he says on Saturday. So I was sleeping better. I started calming down. And then I'm walking around going, oh my God, it just feels like ew in here. Like, oh, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And like full moon's coming, so I sage at new moon and full moon, but I missed the new moon, so I'll do it on full moon. So I had my cleaning lady come in, and we were talking about just her doing a basic one. And then I'm like, oh no, I'm just looking around. I'm feeling this. Let's do a complete clean. Let's clean the house from top to bottom completely. We're talking baseboards. We're talking, obviously, the dusting, the fans, the vents. We're talking that I have these pot shelves in my house, which why they invented these. All they do are dust collectors, and and I have 3 of them. And I won't tell you how long it's been since I had them cleaned, but let's just say I could have made several weaves out of the dust that works up there. What the hell is that? So it got all clean. The house feels so much better. And I know obviously he didn't create that, but he got me to feel more uncomfortable. And then, what a difference it made in my house. So things are moving again better. I don't feel that ickiness when I come home. I'm sleeping better.
Good.
The house feels better. And people walk in, they go, oh my God, I just love how it feels in here. I said, thank you. So that's what I did. So every now and then, those areas coming from me, those areas that you kind of don't look at because why bother looking at up there? Because you know what's up there. Eventually have to get. So just saying.
That's good advice. You're talking directly to me.
I don't want to have to admit it, but hey, I'm real. I'm being real.
Yeah, I love it though. I need to know that. So I will go dust areas I have not dusted.
But I'm telling you, girlfriend, oh no. My cousin who lives in Tucson, she goes, oh my God, because I showed her pictures. And I told her, I swore her to delete them and don't tell anybody to show anybody. She goes, oh my God, it was like arachnophobia up there. They could have had you had a spider family up there probably. Right.
That's funny.
But you forget, and that'll never happen. Once a year, this will be done once a year. I'm not ever doing that again. Shame on me. And so I'm human. When we learn,
exactly. We're all human. Yeah, and that's what life is. It's just learning day in and day out. And you have taught me a lot. So I am just so grateful to have you in my life. I met you when I first started networking, when I was still just a little duckling coming out into the world.
You were so cute. And that's what I love. And you've done that for me too, Katie, because without you, there was a lot of stuff I could not do. And when you stopped doing it for me, I'm like, now what the hell am I going to do? Because I don't want to know anything about social media. I don't want to know. I mean, would love to be able to do a podcast or do what you're doing. Mm-hmm. If somebody just says, here, Magdalena, just stay right here and handle it. I've already set everything up. I'll do it. But for me to figure this out, no. I mean, because everybody keeps telling me you should. And I'm like, yeah, okay. One day, maybe this next 3 months, who knows? But you've shown me a lot, Katie. And thank you for letting me know that I'm there and I've supported you, because that's how I feel about all the ladies that come through, because I've seen so many of them flourish and just, become amazing businesswomen. And that's why I do it. I don't do it. I don't make any money. At least the social media stuff, the website, that all gets paid. And printing and that kind of thing, that gets paid. But that's not what I want. And then the amount of business that goes on with this 2 chapters. We have 2 chapters. We have 50 women, the tens of thousands, hundreds of thousands of dollars, I can say. And so 10 years and we've had some members that have been there almost a full time. So, it's kind of cool. And I love that, because it's like you're my little babies, they're my little chicklings, my little kids.
That's how I feel. My little babies.
Let me help you here. And I love doing that, but only, you have to have that right energy for me, because you will meet women. I've met women that they're a wolf in sheep's clothing, and I've been very much taken aback by several people. I never thought that would happen, but they would do something like that. And you're like, okay, but that doesn't warp who I am. I'm not going to always be suspicious about, they're going to be just like her. Everybody is their own individual, and I've just become smarter in how to pick that up, or how to have better boundaries. So, it takes 2, right?
Mm-hmm.
It takes 2. So, another learning. I've learned so much, Katie, really.
I know you have. I should have you back.
You should anytime.
I got all sorts of other. I mean, there's questions I didn't get to. Like, we have to do anytime.
No, seriously, because we didn't even get into John.
I know exactly, John. Or I had other stuff. So we'll have to bring you back on. Absolutely. And in the meantime,
anytime, because I'm obviously not doing anything right now for 3 months.
Well, I'm just so grateful that you are here, and you were so vulnerable and just so open, and you're just such an open book. And just like I said at the top of the episode, just an inspiration. Your energy is something I always aspire to, to see and to emulate. And I just think that you're doing amazing things. So
here. Thank you.
Oh, thank you. I'm glad that resonated with you, because it's important to know, just like you said, we don't tell people how important they are to us sometimes. And I think we need to do that more. And so I'm just so grateful that you came on, and we will end it here, but really fast, what is the name of the women's group, in case any women who are local Las Vegas business entrepreneurs wants to get involved?
It's called the Las Vegas LVEWN, Las Vegas Empowered Women's Network. and that's .org for our website. And we have 2 locations, and basically whatever profession you're in, we have one category, but you can connect with me on Meetup. We have our lunch and learns on there. Or, you could reach out to me on my email. It's info at LVEWN. No, info at LVEWN at gmail.com.
Okay, perfect.
Anyway, sorry. I've got too many things in my head.
We'll have your information for anyone who wants it. But thank you so much again for being here. And we are going to be live every first and third Wednesday of the month at 3 p.m. Pacific time. But you can catch all of my episodes, including this episode, on my website at katierosewechter.com. So thank you so much, everyone, and we'll see you next time.
Thank you.
PR Connections Radio thanks you for watching this podcast. Check out more episodes of this show and our others at prconnectionsradio.com.